Hey look, we have an air cooled in the shop right now, and this is what we're dealing with on it. The fan was spinning around the alternator shaft and it's stripped out there. But luckily, the customer provided us with another fan, and you see there it has shape to prevent it from spinning around that shaft. So we're probably going to need to use that fan. Might have to use this alternator, but I don't think so. But the interesting part here is, even though this is just an old Beetle engine, and this is a Kubelwagen Replica. Now, there's the company that made it right there, and the customer who owns this owns a tank also that we worked on, and you can look up in the cards there where I'll put a link to the video where we worked on his tank also. But we've actually worked on this thing before, and we're going to do some brake work on it also. But this is a Kubelwagen Replica, which is, of course, looks like a Volkswagen thing. This is not based on a Volkswagen thing. It is based on a Beetle chassis, an IRS Beetle chassis. But I'll give you a better view of it after we get the engine fixed. But it's kind of cool. There are two lightning bolts here that people think say SS, but they're lightning bolts. He has purposely built this thing with no Nazi memorabilia on it. The hubcap has this nice little VW emblem on it there. So we have the engine out and stripped down some. There's the factory mouse nest that prevents cooling to these cylinders right here. I'm going to point something out here though. These shims shim the fan away from the shroud, and there's a bunch of them on this one. This is the original, and this is the one that they brought me for parts, and there's some on that one too. So you do have to shim this to be in the right spot. You also have to have this washer here. This is the one off the problem. But this one's good, and that usually will prevent this thing from coming loose. So we'll put the new stuff on this one. But we know this alternator works. We don't know anything about that one, so we'll be reusing this one. And we'll shim the fan to where it's at the right location, and hopefully it won't rub anything. And this Kubelwagen should be back on the road. I had a few minutes this morning. I thought I'd show you a couple things about our shop. Starting with the lifts. This lift is a rotary, and rotary is a real good brand of lift, and this is a 9,000 pound lift. Rotary is a very expensive lift to the tune of about $6,000 if I remember right. And I absolutely stole this lift. There was a transmission shop going out of business, and he had about 10 lifts, and all of them were Chinese except for this one and this one right here. And I gave $1,000 a piece for these lifts, and I absolutely stole these lifts. This is a real good guy to watch on YouTube. I really appreciate the support Thomas has given to my channel, and this is a real good guy also. But this is a Western lift, and it also 9,000 pounds, I believe. Yes, 9,000 pounds. And the reason I didn't buy this guy's Chinese lifts were because these are ALI certified lifts, the rotary and this one also. And they are the only lifts I would use. I wouldn't use any Chinese lift that wasn't ALI certified, because ALI tests their lifts at double the capacity. Now, I ain't saying I would overload a lift ever, but if they fail before 18,000 pounds, then they don't certify them. So that's plenty heavy enough to lift the Volkswagens that I commonly lift, or a full-size Chevy truck and stuff like that. Now, my other lift is also a rotary, and it is a 9,000 pound also. And this one I didn't get such a good deal. I went to a Ford auction, and they had like 15 of these lifts, and I bought the first one for $1,200. And the other guys who bought the other ones paid upwards of 18 and up for those lifts, because I was smart and bid first. Everyone else was hoping the price would go down, but it went up during the auction. So we have 3 lifts here. on this side and one lift on the other side. I'll show you it in a minute. This is our Branic strut compressor, and this is the premium one in the industry, I think. I stole this one off Craigslist, and I paid $400 for it. It's about a $700 item, and it doesn't show any signs of use. I've used it probably 10 times, 15 times, and if you're using an improvised method or something, or those crappy little ones, yeah, you're going to kill yourself eventually. But these are safe to use and easy to use, and I wouldn't work with anything else. This is our steam cabinet. This is another item I've sold from a dealership auction. It was a Ford dealership auction. I gave $400 for this thing. These things run about $7,000, $6,000 to $7,000 new. It worked when I got it, and it was fine, but unfortunately I had to fix it at one point and spend $1,000 on a motor and a pump. That wasn't fun, but it still works great. And I have to say, my years in the transmission industry, I have fixed these things over and over and over again. I really feel like I could fix anything on them. I don't know why I would ever replace this. I would just fix it. All the stuff is commonly available from stuff like Grainger and hardware stores and things like that. This is our Grace transmission jack. My years in the transmission industry, this is the standard jack that everyone would use. It is not cheap. This is a $1,600 jack. I did buy this brand new when I started this business, but we use this thing constantly. Obviously, we have an O1M there. That's from our most recent 5-speed conversion. Over here is the parts we took out of a 5-speed conversion. There are axle shifter, flywheel, starter, stuff that you have to take off and put manual transmission compatible parts in there. We also have a Amco brake lathe, and I didn't quite steal this. I paid way too much money for this, and I used it a few times and then it broke. It's entirely fixable. I have the skills to fix it. I know what's wrong with it. It's just really difficult to get the time to do so. I also have a snap-on welder. That thing has been nice for us. I paid way too much money for it. I paid like $1,100 for it. I wish I had just bought a brand new small Miller welder. That's a 220 welder, and I wish I'd have just bought a 120 welder. Obviously, we have a cut and torch there also. Here's our Freon Machine, and you have to have one of these. If you don't have one of these, it's not legal for you to work on AC systems in a shop, and you have to be certified as well. I, of course, am certified, and I own the machine. This was an expensive purchase at over $4,000. It's raining a bit outside. Hi, Bob.
Howdy, sir. Can I borrow you for some motion?
You need to push that out?
Yes, sir.
Okay, after helping Bob push, this is the north side of our shop, which you probably have never seen in a video. There's my Porsche over there. There's my Volkswagen. That's one of my flip cars. And that's my son's car that you can see in a video right in the corner up there. That's the one that I still haven't put it together. It's the one that is fix it or flip it. But this is the last lift I'm going to show you. It is a Challenger, and it is ALI certified. Half the sticker's missing here. But this is a 10,000-pound lift, and I haven't used this lift very much. I actually owned it for a few years, just set it up recently. There's where it says Challenger on it. And here's our compressor. It's a big Ingersoll Rand one. And I stole this thing. I gave $400 for it. That is a $1,200. I don't know. Maybe it's $700. But I stole it. It was broke, and I fixed it. And $400 ain't bad for a compressor like that. Well, that's a quick tour of our shop and some of the equipment we use. But now back to our regularly scheduled programming. Auf Wiedersehen!
Auf Wiedersehen.
If you enjoyed looking at this Kubelwagen, or if you've enjoyed the quick tour of the shop, please click the like button. If you want to donate to the continued production of these videos, be sure and visit my website at www.kansascitytdi.com. And if you want to watch some more of my videos, there'll be one right there, and probably one right there. And don't forget to subscribe.